Hi everybody, it's Alex Smart and I'm back to talk more about bicycling. We are talking about being a safe commuter. I have 10 things that you absolutely need to know to be the most safe commuter. If you follow these 10 rules, you will be much safer. So first of all, taking the lane. This is huge. You have to take the lane when there's not room for a car and a bicycle to safely ride in a lane together. That means that if there's parked cars, you have to have a cushion of probably 3 feet so when the car door opens, because people don't look, you won't get hit by the car door, and then another 3 feet for the car to pass. If there's not that 6 foot cushion around the bicycle, then I'm sorry to say, car drivers, they own the lane. It looks like the bicyclist is being selfish because they are kind of taking up a big space. But if you think about how much your car takes, if you're a car driver, then the space is equal, if not more, because you still need a space cushion around the car. So actually, even though the bicyclist seems like they're taking up a huge space for what they are, they do need that space. Just imagine a car around a bicycle as you pass them. Also, you don't know like if the bicyclist is going to hit a crack or a pothole. There's lots of reasons why a bicyclist would be in the lane. Maybe they're going to make a left turn coming up. There's just lots of reasons why a bicyclist can and should legally be in the lane. So I just really want car drivers to think about that. There's lots of rear view mirrors. Some people put them on the handlebars. Some people put them on. There's ones that actually a little mirror they put in on the inside of their glasses. Believe it or not. I like the ones that attach to the glasses. Now they have ones that stick on your helmet too, but the reason why I don't like that is because what if you get a different helmet? What if you have multiple helmets? The thing that goes in the glasses can come on and off, and it is can be transferred to different glasses in different situations. Because it's closer to your eye than say the one on the handlebar, you will get a wider field of view because it's so close to your eye. You see a lot in the rear view mirror. You can turn your head, you can pretty much sweep everything behind you. So that's the other thing. And also, because you can turn your head, that's also an advantage, because if you want to look in a different direction, you can just turn your head and see. If it's on your handlebars, you can't do that, obviously, because you'll be forced to make a turn and you won't be able to see. Number 3 is to use bright lights at night. Now, people think, oh my gosh, my bicycle light is too bright. But trust me, any bicycle light that you have is still not going to be as bright as a car light. But you also need to be seen too as a bicycle. And actually, I think with the right light that's really bright, maybe a little flashing pattern, da steady, or just flash, 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 flash. Use something like that because it kind of, in a way, it's movement and it kind of attracts people's attention, and they will be much more likely to see you. And then, of course, you also want to have a bright tail light. Just get the brightest ones you can get. Always expect car drivers to do something stupid. Actually, what I should say is always expect car drivers to do something unexpected. They don't signal a lot. I would say at least 50% of the time, if not maybe 70% of the time, car drivers do not use their signals. Which, by the way, car drivers, I don't think you realize how important that point of communication is for a bicycle. Sometimes I look for a signal. If I don't see a signal, I'll just assume you're going straight, or I'll just have to be cautious because most of the time people don't signal. So signaling is huge for car drivers. And then that enables the bicyclist to work with the car traffic. A lot of times when a car driver doesn't signal, sometimes I'll ask them why they didn't. And 9 times out of 10, they say, I didn't see you. Well, that's not the purpose of a signal. It's for the things you don't see. It's not for the things you do see. So if you're signaling and you don't see someone, they can still see what you're going to do. If you don't signal and you don't see someone, they have no idea. They just assume you're going to go straight. Turning into driveways or parking lots, please just use your signal as much as you can. Now, I will admit when I was just a car driver, strictly a car driver, I did actually neglect using my signal more often than I do now. So I kind of understand the mindset. You think, oh, it's just wasting a signal or no one's around or whatever. But trust me, I'm just telling you from a bicyclist perspective that it means so much to us when we see that signal. And then you move on. Oh, the other thing that happens is people signal while they're changing lanes. Okay, that does nothing. That does no good. So back to number 4, always expect car drivers to do something unexpected. But look out for, cars pulling out of driveways, alleyways, between cars without looking, doors opening, sudden debris or cracks in the road. That's why you need that space cushion or potentially to take the lane. It's just another reason to be further out into the lane than car drivers really want you to be or expect you to be. I always tell people the faster I'm going on a bicycle, the further out I'm going to need to be in a lane, because it increases also my visibility. If I'm going along parked cars, even if they don't open a car door, I'm not as visible to cars coming out between cars and so forth. So you always want to make sure that you are visible. Number 5, keep your bicycle in great working condition, or at least good working condition. Okay, this is twofold. First of all, when you're on your bicycle and you're riding somewhere, just have some basic, have an emergency tool with some Allen wrenches and maybe even a chain breaker. Have some tire levers and extra tubes and a pump. And also, keep your bicycle indoors. This is an important one. I don't really like it when people say they keep their bikes in the garage or in the patio or outside, because the bicycle has so many delicate components to it. And people say they don't have space, but I think it's just a cultural thing. I think we're just not used to it. It's like when people first started taking their shoes off when they went indoors. So I think the same thing has to happen with bicycles. If you keep it clean, you take care of it, it definitely should be inside. You definitely should make room for it, or get a rack mount and do something just to get it out of the way and up on the wall. Even in Seinfeld, and he had a bicycle hanging in his tiny apartment in New York. So there's always space for it. There's no excuse not to keep a bicycle inside, and take good care of it. Learn how to do some basic maintenance, lubricate the chain, clean the derailleur pulleys. Do it, even if you do it twice a year, it's better than nothing. Sometimes I see people riding bicycles and their chains creaking and their cranks cracking, and it's just, I want to call Child Protective Services on them. I feel like they're abusing their poor bicycle. Don't ride on sidewalks. Now, people always say, oh, but sometimes it's safe and you have to. Okay, yes, sometimes I ride on sidewalks, sometimes when the street is absolutely horrendous, but I want you to think about the fact that a lot of times sidewalks are more dangerous. So why is that? Well, there's buildings that obscure alleys, driveways, cars jutting in and out through parked cars. Every wall that you pass, you should almost come to a stop when you're on the sidewalk. You have to go really carefully. Then there's pedestrians and different kinds of cracks and issues on sidewalks. So I really don't recommend riding on the sidewalk. The other thing is, we need our votes to be heard. Help educate people that you are a part of the infrastructure, that bicyclists do belong on the road, and if the lane's too small, in the middle of the lane. This is legal and safe. The other thing to think about is actually riding on the sidewalk may be illegal depending on where you are. Number 7, obey the laws even if they don't know it's a law. Okay, this is when you're on a bicycle and you're taking the lane, or you're going on the left side of right turners, or whatever is legally required and also safer, and car drivers kind of get frustrated, or they don't they honk at you or yell at you. Please be assertive enough to hold your place on the road as a vehicle. This is very important, because if you go to the side, or you get people used to sneaking by you, eventually you're going to get clipped, or you're going to be the victim of a right hook where they turn right in front of you. And it's just better just to obey the law and to be on the road. Also, I like to think of it this way. Car drivers honestly are just miserable, especially in West LA. They're not going anywhere. They're in this giant vehicle. They're stuck. So they're frustrated by nature. So their frustration is not necessarily at you, the bicycle. It's just a bad situation. And, there probably is a little bit of envy when they see you pass by, because they're sitting there and you can go faster. And then when they're going slightly faster than you, they want to get around and try to race around you, not realizing there's a bunch of cars stopped at the light ahead or whatever. And even if they're not, they have no right to bully you off the road. So using hand signals. So let's talk about this. I want to tell the car drivers something. Bicyclists may not always use their hand signals. And you might think of this as a point that you can attack bicyclists on, but if you think about it, sometimes there's potholes. Sometimes you need to have both hands on the handlebars, and sometimes you need to be braking or even shifting or doing other things that would require you not to remove your hands to signal. Now, I will grant you that bicyclists don't signal enough, and I encourage bicyclists to use hand signals and just stick your arm straight out. And also, by the way, I do I stick my left arm straight out, and right, I point to the right. Now, some people do the, what you're supposed to do with the cars, but I don't do that because number one, that was obviously made for car drivers who can't stick their hand out of the right side. And number two, it's confusing to people. Car drivers don't understand bicycling as it is. If they see you do that, it may not register as a right turn signal. So I encourage people to use the sticking the right hand out for a right turn. And another thing that hand signals do, by the way, is it shows as that the bicyclists are conforming to the rules of the road and that they are a viable vehicle. Another thing you can do to be a safe commuter is number 9, inform your local, state, and federal governments about this video series. It's really important that everyone sees this, not just bicyclists. I love my bicyclist fans and friends. These videos are really for car drivers, they're really for politicians, they're for policymakers, they're for city planners. I want everyone to see this and think about this. By the way, if you don't think you can bicycle, I have plenty of videos about excuses and answers and the benefits of bicycling. And with velomobiles and electric bicycles, there's really not that many excuses anymore. You can go, hundreds of miles a week without even working now on these electric bicycles. So number 10 is learn the California Vehicle Code. And again, this goes for both bicyclists and car drivers. Really look at bicycle code 21200 to 21213. These vehicle codes are so little known. They save lives. They're there for a reason. And bicyclists are so vulnerable. So car drivers, please read that code. And also, it'll make you less frustrated with the bicyclists that do abide by the law, that are legally taking a lane or going on the left side for right turns or all these things that we talk about. So I really encourage car drivers to look into this. People right away, when I say stuff like this, they latch on and say like, well, bicyclists, don't stop at stop signs or this or that. Well, obviously, breaking the law is a human issue and not a mode issue. But really, the best thing to do is to set the situation up for success. And what I mean by that is create separated bike roads, much like they did in downtown LA, which, by the way, they've slowed car traffic down. Business is booming. It's thriving now because they've slowed car traffic down to a reasonable speed and they've allowed alternate transportation. So now everyone can get where they need to go faster and more efficiently. We have to stop thinking that cars are the only ways to get around. Really, I just encourage you to get on a bicycle and, just try a little commute. Just try a 1-mile commute. Do it on a day that maybe is not so scary, maybe like a Sunday morning. And you might be surprised. It's going to be easier than you think, and you're going to feel that, that life that enters your body when you exercise, when you do something outdoors and the wind is blowing in your face, and you're on a side street, so you feel safe. Start safe, and then eventually you'll get to the point where you're like me, where you'll go on pretty much any road. And I've even been on freeways. But don't expect to be there in the beginning. It's a step-by-step process. You'll feel that sense of accomplishment, and you'll start to really get excited about commuting by bicycle. You inspire others. World politics relying on fossil fuels, all of that fracking issue, that'll all go away. And we can do it. We can all do it. You just have to do it with us. We have to lead by example. People say, well, you're only one person. Well, we can all do this together, and it can be so simple. It can be so simple. But you have to be uncomfortable. You have to maybe get a little sweaty every now and then. And, don't be afraid to get sweaty. We have to challenge these cultural beliefs that you have to be pristine when you go to work. You have to be comfortable. Well, guess what? We're in a crowded city. If you're in a city and you're in a crowded area, then it's not built for every one of us to be driving giant metal vehicles around. It's just not set up for that anymore. We're just too dense in more ways than one. So thank you for listening, and I hope I've inspired you to bicycle. I hope I've inspired you to commute by bicycle especially. And if you have any questions, you can email me at bicycleinformation@gmail.com or leave a comment in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. It really helps. I'm really trying to build something here for the good of everyone. I'm really trying to just spread the word and help everyone make this a better world. Thank you. Hello everybody, it's Alex Smart. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of work here to help keep you informed, to help you with computers, with Sherman, and also just entertain you with the Alex Smart Show. I'm very excited about all the things coming up, so subscribe so you're in the know, and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I recommend a road bike with the skinny tires, with the dropped handlebars, save your back, get you those different hand positions to relieve stress in your back. That slight bend, by the way, is good for your back, not bad for your back. It's going to be much easier to ride. You'll be less sweaty. It'll relieve lots of problems. Good road bicycle with the drop bars. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you're going to need some storage.